In a distant corner of the galaxy, the Galactic Empire ruled with an iron fist. Their fleets of starships traveled through the stars, conquering planets and intimidating any race that dared to resist. They believed they were the most powerful force in the universe, and no one could challenge them. However, their confidence would soon be tested. One day, a young intelligence officer named Alex sat at his terminal in a small room aboard the Empire's flagship. He had received troubling reports from human scouts on Earth. They spoke of humans who were not afraid to fight back and had an incredible ability to adapt in battle. Alex had spent weeks gathering data, and the more he learned, the more he felt the need to speak out. He was nervous but knew he had to warn his superiors. After hours of hesitation, Alex finally mustered the courage to walk into the Grand Command Center. The room was filled with high-ranking officials, all discussing their next conquest. As he entered, the noise quieted, and all eyes turned to him. "Sir," Alex began, his voice shaking slightly, "I have important information about the humans on Earth." The Empire's commander, a tall figure in shining armor named General Krell, raised an eyebrow. "Humans? What do they matter? They are weak and primitive. We could crush them without a second thought." "But, sir," Alex insisted, "I have reason to believe they are stronger than we think. They have a history of fighting back against great odds. I've seen reports of their bravery, their creativity in battle. We cannot underestimate them." A murmur of laughter swept through the room. The other officers exchanged amused glances, finding humor in the notion that humans could pose a real threat. General Krell, however, leaned forward, intrigued. "You seem passionate about this. What exactly do you think they can do against our fleets?" Alex took a deep breath. "They may not have our advanced technology, but they have spirit. They fight for their home and their people. There are stories of humans overcoming great challenges, wars, disasters, and they always find a way to survive. If we attack, they will not surrender. They will fight." General Krell waved his hand dismissively. "We do not have time for this nonsense. Our plans to invade Earth are already set. We will show them the might of the Empire. They will bow to us." Feeling frustrated, Alex knew he had to make one last attempt. "Sir, I urge you to reconsider. We should gather more intelligence, understand their defenses better before we strike. Ignoring this warning could lead to our defeat." Krell frowned. "Enough. Your job is to gather information, not to question orders. We will proceed as planned." Alex felt his heart sink. He understood the risk they were taking, but knew he could do nothing against the will of the Empire. As he walked out of the command center, he felt a deep sense of dread. He couldn't shake the feeling that they were making a huge mistake. Back in his quarters, Alex continued to study the reports about Earth. He learned about human warriors who fought bravely in the past, who stood up to impossible odds and refused to back down. The more he read, the more he realized that the Empire was heading for disaster. Determined to make his voice heard, Alex decided to send out a warning to the humans. He hacked into the Empire's communication system, typing a brief message, "Warning to all humans, Galactic Empire is coming. They will attack! Run for your lives!" He knew this was risky, but he hoped that someone would see it and take it seriously. As he sent the message into the void of space, a sense of relief washed over him. Perhaps someone would listen. Perhaps the humans would prepare themselves for the battle ahead. Alex could only hope that his warning would reach them in time. But back on the Empire's flagship, General Krell and his officers continued to laugh and plan, completely unaware of the storm that was about to break over their heads. The Galactic Empire was confident, but soon they would learn the hard way that underestimating humanity would be their greatest mistake. The Galactic Empire's massive fleet of starships glided through the cold darkness of space, heading towards Earth. General Krell stood on the command bridge of the flagship, his arms crossed and a smug smile on his face. He believed this mission would be an easy victory. With the power of the Empire behind him, he felt invincible. "Prepare to enter Earth's atmosphere," Krell commanded, his voice booming with confidence. The crew worked quickly, following his orders without question. They had their weapons ready, eager to show the humans their might. Meanwhile, on Earth, a group of human leaders gathered in a secure military bunker. They had received Alex's urgent warning about the Empire's impending attack. The room was filled with tension as they discussed their plan. Sarah, a determined young leader, stood at the center, rallying the group. "We have to prepare for battle. The Empire thinks we are weak, but we need to show them we will fight for our home." she said passionately, her eyes shining with determination. One of the military commanders, General Harper, nodded in agreement. We may not have the advanced technology of the Empire, but we have something they don't, heart. We know how to fight, and we know how to protect our people. The humans quickly began organizing their defenses. They set up communication systems, gathered weapons, and prepared their best soldiers. The atmosphere was tense but filled with hope. As the Empire's fleet approached Earth, Krell ordered a display of force. "Show them our power! Fire warning shots!" he commanded. The starships unleashed bright beams of energy into the sky, creating dazzling explosions. However, instead of causing fear, the humans looked up in defiance. They were ready. As Krell watched from his flagship, he noticed something strange. Humans were not running away. They were gathering, determined to face the threat head-on. "Why aren't they fleeing?" Krell shouted, his smile fading. "This is not how it was supposed to go!" Before he could respond, a human transmission came through. It was Sarah. "Galactic Empire, we know you are here. We will not surrender. We will fight to protect our home." The room fell silent as Krell processed her words. He had expected fear, but instead he was met with boldness. "Send a message back," he ordered, his voice low and tense. "Tell them they will be crushed." The Empire's ships began their descent towards the planet. Krell's fleet unleashed a wave of energy blasts, aiming to destroy the cities below. But as the beams of light cut through the atmosphere, humans launched their counterattack. Using fighter jets and homemade weapons, they took to the skies, determined to protect their world. Sarah led a squadron of pilots, their hearts racing as they soared into battle. They quickly dodged the Empire's blasts, working together like a well-oiled machine. "Stay close! Watch each other's backs!" Sarah shouted over the radio. She flew with confidence, her eyes locked on the enemy ships. The humans fought with all their strength, surprising the Empire with their bravery and skill. The battle raged on, and the Empire realized they had underestimated humanity. Their starships were damaged as the humans fought back with courage and strategy. Krell's frustration grew as he watched his fleet struggle against these determined defenders. In the midst of the chaos, a young pilot named Jack spotted an opening in the Empire's formation. "Sarah, I see a weak spot in their defense. We can take them down," he shouted. "Let's do it," Sarah replied, feeling a surge of hope. They dove toward the enemy, coordinating their attack with precision. The humans fought with everything they had, refusing to back down. As the battle continued, the Empire began to panic. The once confident generals were now on edge, realizing that humans were not the easy targets they had thought. "Fall back! Regroup!" Krell ordered, his voice filled with anger and fear. The Empire's ships began to pull away, leaving behind a trail of destruction. Back on Earth, Sarah and her team watched as the Empire's fleet retreated into the stars. They had fought bravely, defending their planet against an overwhelming force. The humans stood together, cheering and celebrating their unexpected victory. "We did it! We fought back!" Sarah exclaimed, tears of joy streaming down her face. The battle was just the beginning, but they had proven that humanity could stand up to the Galactic Empire. The message was clear: they would not go down without a fight. The first contact had transformed into a fierce battle, igniting the spirit of humanity in ways they had never imagined. After the surprising victory over the Galactic Empire, the atmosphere on Earth was charged with energy and determination. Humans felt a newfound sense of pride, but they knew the fight was far from over. The Empire would return, and this time, they would not hold back. In the heart of the military command center, Sarah and General Harper gathered their best minds to discuss the next steps. "We need to prepare for a bigger attack," Sarah said, her eyes focused on the screen filled with data. "The Empire will come back stronger. We must be ready." General Harper nodded, his face serious. "We need to build our defenses and gather more fighters. We can't let our guard down. We've seen what they are capable of." He turned to the group around the table. "Every human needs to know that we are in danger. We must unite and show the Empire that we will not be defeated." As the command team began to strategize, the Galactic Empire was regrouping in the cold void of space. General Krell was furious after the defeat. He paced back and forth on the command bridge of his flagship, clenching his fists. "How could this happen? How could these weak humans fight back?" he shouted, his voice echoing in the silent room. His officers exchanged nervous glances. "Sir, we underestimated them," one officer said. "They have spirit and bravery. We need to come up with a new plan. Krell's face twisted with rage. No more mistakes! This time we will send a fleet that they cannot resist. We will destroy their cities and break their will to fight. Let's show them what true power looks like. With a new plan in mind, the Empire set their sights back on Earth. They gathered a massive fleet, filled with warships armed to the teeth. They would not only attack the cities, but also target the human leaders. Krell wanted to break their spirit completely. Back on Earth, the mood was tense but hopeful. Sarah and her team were working tirelessly to strengthen their defenses. They built barricades, repaired damaged fighter jets, and gathered volunteers from all over the world. Humans of every background came together, united by the common goal of protecting their home. The day of the battle arrived, and the skies darkened as the Empire's ships descended. Thousands of starships appeared like shadows blocking out the sun. People on Earth looked up in fear, but Sarah stood tall, ready to lead her people. Everyone, listen, she shouted to the gathered crowd. This is our home! We cannot let them take it from us. We will fight and we will win. The humans cheered, their voices rising in defiance. They knew the fight ahead would be difficult, but they were not afraid. They had tasted victory and were ready to defend their planet. As the first waves of energy blasts rained down on the cities, the humans launched their counterattack. Fighter jets soared into the sky, zigzagging through the explosions. Sarah led the charge, her heart racing with adrenaline. Stay focused! We can do this! She yelled, her voice steady over the radio. The battle began in earnest, with beams of light cutting through the air. Humans fought fiercely, employing every strategy they could think of. They used guerrilla tactics, striking quickly and retreating into the shadows. The Empire, confident in their power, began to realize that this battle would not be as easy as they had thought. Krell's frustration grew as he watched his ships being damaged by the determined human fighters. They are too persistent. Send in the ground forces, he ordered. Massive dropships descended from the fleet, deploying soldiers who marched toward the cities, weapons at the ready. As the Empire's ground troops advanced, the humans prepared their defenses. They set traps and barricades, determined to hold their ground. The fighting intensified as both sides clashed in the streets, and the sounds of battle filled the air. Sarah found herself in the thick of the fighting, leading a group of soldiers through the chaos. They fought side by side, pushing back against the Empire's relentless advance. Keep moving! We can't let them break through! She shouted, her voice cutting through the noise. The battle raged on, with neither side willing to give an inch. Humans were determined to protect their homes, while the Empire sought to crush their spirit once and for all. The streets of Earth became a battleground, filled with courage, fear, and the unyielding will to survive. In the midst of the chaos, Sarah spotted a group of soldiers trying to flank them. She rallied her team, and together they launched a counterattack, pushing back against the Empire's forces. With every blow, they reminded the invaders that humanity would not be easily defeated. As the sun began to set, the battle continued, lighting up the sky with flashes of energy and explosions. The first day of the battle showed that the war was far from over. Humanity had risen to the challenge, and they would fight with everything they had to protect their planet from the Galactic Empire. The battle raged on, and as night fell, the Earth was illuminated by flashes of energy blasts and explosions. Despite their fierce determination, the humans found themselves struggling against the relentless onslaught of the Galactic Empire. The streets were filled with chaos, but amidst the turmoil, hope still flickered like a dying star. In the command center, Sarah gathered her team, determination etched on her face. We can't let them win, she urged, her voice steady. We need a new plan, something unexpected. They think they can crush us, but we are stronger than they realize. General Harper, weary but resolute, nodded in agreement. We must find a way to outsmart them. If we can disrupt their command and communication, we might have a chance. Sarah thought hard, recalling what she had seen during the battle. What if we create a diversion? If we can draw their attention away from our main forces, we can hit them where they least expect it. The team quickly began to form a strategy. They would split their forces, sending a group to create chaos on one side of the city, while the main group would attack the Empire's command ship. If they could take out the ship, it would throw the Empire into disarray. Meanwhile, aboard the flagship of the Galactic Empire, General Krell paced anxiously. The humans were proving to be more formidable than he had anticipated. "What are those humans planning?" he demanded, frustration bubbling beneath his calm exterior. "They are too organized for mere insects." One of his officers spoke up. "They might be planning something. We need to be cautious. They are adapting to our tactics." Krell slammed his fist on the control panel. "We will not let them outsmart us. Increase the security around our command ship. We cannot afford to lose control." Back on the ground, Sarah and her team prepared for their daring plan. They split their forces into two groups, one led by Sarah to create chaos in the streets, and the other under General Harper's command, heading straight for the command ship. As Sarah moved through the darkened streets, she felt the adrenaline coursing through her veins. "Remember, our goal is to distract them," she reminded her team. "We want them to focus on us, not on the command ship." With stealth and determination, they launched a series of small, targeted attacks. They set off explosions, creating clouds of smoke and confusion. The Empire's soldiers quickly diverted their attention to the new threat, leaving the command ship vulnerable. Meanwhile, General Harper and his team made their way through the chaos, determined to reach the command ship. They moved quickly, using the cover of darkness to their advantage. As they approached, they could see the massive ship looming overhead, its lights shining like a beacon. "Stay alert," Harper whispered to his team. "We need to breach their defenses without being detected." They quietly made their way to the back of the ship, where they discovered a maintenance hatch. "This might be our way in," Harper said, his eyes glinting with hope. They worked quickly to open the hatch and slipped inside, leaving chaos outside them. Back in the streets, Sarah and her team fought bravely, drawing the Empire's attention away from Harper's group. As they launched their distractions, Sarah felt a rush of hope. "We can do this! They're losing their grip!" she shouted, encouraging her team as they fought back against the advancing soldiers. In the command ship, General Harper and his team maneuvered through dark corridors, careful to avoid detection. They knew that time was running out. As they reached the control room, they took a moment to gather their breath. "This is it," Harper said, determination in his eyes. "If we can take control of their systems, we can turn the tide of this battle." With quick precision, they worked together to disable the ship's defenses. Just as they were about to gain control, the alarms blared throughout the ship. "They've found us!" one soldier shouted, panic setting in. "Stay calm. We can't give up now!" Harper replied, his voice steady. They had come too far to back down. The team quickly fortified their position, ready to defend themselves as they continued their mission. Outside, the tide of battle began to shift. The Empire's forces, distracted by Sarah's team, struggled to maintain their lines. Reports came in of confusion within the Empire's ranks, and the humans felt a renewed sense of hope. With determination, Sarah pushed her team forward. "We can't stop now! Let's keep fighting!" she shouted. They fought harder than ever, pushing back against the Empire's soldiers, their spirits lifted by the chaos they had created. Back in the command room, General Harper successfully accessed the Empire's communication systems. "I've got control," he shouted, a smile breaking across his face. "Now let's show them what we can do." As he activated the system, he sent a message to all humans fighting on the ground. "We have control of their command ship. Keep fighting! We are turning the tide." With those words, the humans rallied, fueled by hope and the knowledge that they were winning. The battle was far from over, but for the first time they felt a shift in their favor. Together, they would fight against the Galactic Empire and defend their planet with every ounce of strength they had. The battle had ended, but the echoes of gunfire and explosions still lingered in the air. Smoke rose from the ruins of the city, a grim reminder of the fierce struggle between humanity and the Galactic Empire. As dawn broke over the horizon, a new day emerged, bringing with it a sense of hope and determination. Sarah stood among the ruins, surveying the aftermath of the battle. Her heart felt heavy as she took in the destruction around her. Buildings lay in ruins, and the streets were filled with debris. However, she also saw the spirit of humanity shining through the darkness. People were coming together, helping one another, and rebuilding what had been lost. "We did it," she whispered, feeling a mix of pride and sorrow. They had fought bravely against a powerful enemy, and they had won. But at what cost? The scars of war would take time to heal. General Harper approached her, a weary smile on his face. "We may have won this battle, but the war is far from over. The Empire will not take this defeat lightly," he said, his voice steady despite the exhaustion in his eyes. Sarah nodded, understanding the gravity of the situation. We need to send a message. We cannot let the Empire think they can come back and attack us again without consequences. As they spoke, a group of soldiers began to gather around them, their faces weary but hopeful. They had fought side by side, and now they stood united in their victory. Sarah addressed them, her voice strong. We have shown the Empire that we will not back down. We fought for our homes, our families, and our future. Let's make sure they understand that we are ready to defend ourselves at all costs. The soldiers cheered, their spirits lifted by her words. Together they began to plan their next steps. They knew they needed to send a clear message to the Galactic Empire, one that would resonate throughout the galaxy. Meanwhile, on the flagship of the Empire, General Krell seethed with rage. This is unacceptable! We were defeated by a lesser species! He roared, slamming his fist on the table in front of him. His officers cowered under his fierce gaze, knowing that they had underestimated the humans. We must regroup and come back stronger, one officer suggested, trembling. We cannot allow them to think they can defy us. Krell's eyes narrowed. We will send a message of our own. We will not let them celebrate their victory. They will know that we are coming for them. Back on Earth, Sarah and her team worked tirelessly to send their message. They took control of the Empire's communication system and sent out a broadcast across the galaxy. To the Galactic Empire, we are humanity. We have fought for our home and our people. We will not be intimidated or silenced. If you come for us again, be prepared to face the full force of humanity. As the message spread, the humans felt a surge of pride. They were no longer seen as weak or insignificant. They had stood against a powerful enemy and emerged victorious. The galaxy was watching, and their message resonated with other civilizations. News of the humans' victory spread like wildfire. Other races began to take notice, realizing that humanity was not to be underestimated. They watched with curiosity and respect as the humans rebuilt their cities and healed their wounds. Many began to wonder if they too could stand against the Empire. In the days that followed, Sarah and her team focused on recovery. They provided support to those in need and helped rebuild the damaged parts of the city. They held memorials for those who had lost their lives in the battle, honoring their bravery and sacrifice. As the community came together, they grew stronger. Sarah felt a sense of unity among her people, a bond forged through hardship and triumph. They had faced darkness and emerged into the light, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. However, the threat of the Empire loomed large. General Harper reminded everyone that while they had won this battle, the war was not over. We must remain vigilant. The Empire will not forgive our defiance, and we must be prepared for whatever comes next. Sarah knew that the fight was far from finished. They had sent their message, but it would take more than words to ensure their safety. They would need to strengthen their defenses, gather allies, and prepare for the Empire's inevitable retaliation. With a sense of purpose, she rallied her team once more. Let's work together to build a better future. We have shown our strength, and now we must show our resolve. The Empire may think they can crush us, but we will stand united, ready to defend our home. As the sun set on the horizon, casting a warm glow over the city, Sarah and her people stood together, united in their determination. They were no longer just a planet. They were a force to be reckoned with, and they would do whatever it took to protect their world from the grasp of the Galactic Empire. The war for their future had only just begun.